everybody, Stacy here with Pitch Deck Fire. I'm so happy you've joined us for our pitch hack of the week this week. If you haven't been with us before, we cover tips and tricks on pitching, pitch decks, sales decks, investor decks, and live presentations. So if you're a startup looking for funding or an established company looking for new customers, maybe you're even in an accelerator or an incubator program, all of you can find value in pitch hacks. So let's hop right into it. What's this week's pitch hack of the week? All right, pitch hack of the week this week is, which slide design tool should I use? So if you're putting together a pitch deck for the very first time, regardless of whether it's for investment or sales, or whether you're planning to present it live or send it as a document to potential investors or potential sales clients, what you've probably done is Googled what is a pitch deck, or what goes into a pitch deck, or how do I build a pitch deck? You have a lot of different options for what tool to put your pitch deck together in. What you're usually doing is putting together a presentation. So there's many different presentation software tools that you can use. Some are things that you have downloaded on your computer, and some are online. The most common one, of course, is PowerPoint. Everybody's heard of PowerPoint, and it's a staple in presentation design. And to be perfectly honest, when we're putting together pitch decks here at Pitch Deck Fire, we use PowerPoint the most often. And that's because it has a lot of functionality, it's a very useful tool, and most people have used it before, meaning all of our clients are able to access the files that we're putting together for them very, very easily using a tool like PowerPoint. Now, you may or may not be familiar with PowerPoint, and if you are, that's probably a good tool for you to use. If you're using a Mac, you may likely use Keynote as well, or instead. Keynote is another very popular one. Keynote and PowerPoint are both good because they are very functional, and you can use them both as a visual aid or as a send-ahead document. If you're sending a physical document, you can save any PowerPoint or presentation that you put together in either Keynote or PowerPoint into a PDF file to be able to send it to somebody. They're great tools for people who don't have maybe access to more intense design tools to be able to put together or edit or utilize designed visual documents like a presentation. Beyond those two, there's several other online versions of tools that you can use to put together your presentation. They tend to be newer tools and have other functionality or features that you might find valuable over using PowerPoint or Keynote. I've seen more and more people using Google Slides these days, and I think the reason is because it does have more functionality when it comes to making it very editable and having an entire team be able to provide input on a document. So more people than just one can be working on a document at once, and it's more likely to be able to have, version control and that sort of thing. So there's some benefit to that. Some of the downsides to using Google Slides is that it's not as functional as PowerPoint or Keynote, and it's not as easy to use in a consistent way in terms of like slide masters and some of the more intense stuff that you can do with themes and colors and fonts in PowerPoint and Keynote. Some of the other online tools that you can use are SlideBean, Slides.com, and Prezi. And each of these are a little bit different, but SlideBean and Slides.com, some of their benefit is that you have the opportunity to see who all is looking at your slides or how long they're looking at your slides, which can be valuable if you are wanting to send it to a potential investor and see what they think. One thing to keep in mind is you can always upload other documents you've created in other presentation tools to those sites, so you can still kind of get that value without using their tool to put it together. They tend to be a little bit less user-friendly and a little bit less functional than like a PowerPoint or a Keynote. And then Prezi, that's an interesting one. Prezi is one where things move around a lot and you can kind of do some interesting zoom in and zoom out. I would be very cautious of using Prezi. It's very easy to make things look dizzying and complicated, and you can make it too much movement for your audience. You really don't want to make your audience dizzy. You want them to pay attention to you during your presentation. So Prezi doesn't work for live presentations quite as well because it makes people dizzy. And Prezi really doesn't work for sending it as a PDF because you don't get any of that movement when you send it as a PDF. So in conclusion, I would suggest you use either PowerPoint or Keynote, or consider some of these other options if you're looking for some of that additional functionality. But know that you're going to have a little bit less functionality when it comes to design and presentation ability. So hopefully that answers your question of what presentation tools should I use to create my pitch deck. Thanks for joining us on this week's Pitch Hack. I hope you join us again next week. If you have any thoughts on presentation tools or other tools that you think are really valuable, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. If this video has been helpful, give us a little thumbs up. And if you have any ideas for new pitch hacks, there's a link down below to submit your ideas for next week. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's Pitch Hack of the Week. Again, I'm Stacy with Pitch Deck Fire, and we'll see you again next week. Happy pitching!